They're Juggling Authors. Jim Heskett here, author of The Juggling Author. And I am one of the most main questions that I've gotten since I published my book, The Juggling Author, in summer of 2017 is about how I manage my to-do list, since that's a question. That's something that comes up pretty frequently in the book, is about the importance of having a to-do list and managing it. And so the tool that I use is called Trello. And so one of the questions I also get is how do I use Trello? So I thought I'd make a little video to talk through how I organize my Trello. It's a Kanban style board, or Kanban, depending on how you want to pronounce it. But so Trello is not the be all end all, and it may not work for everybody, but it works great for me. So if you have another system that works for you, that's great. But I'm just going to talk through how I use it. First up, I have my general to-do board. This is my green board here, and it's divided into these due someday, due later, due next, due now, and done did it. And so you can see some examples of the stuff that I have in here. Like I've got to make a juggle video for how to use Trello. I can go ahead and drag that one into done did it. Oh, it didn't work. Drag it into done did it. And so you see some of these things in the due later, due next, due now have specific dates assigned to them. So you can click on something and you can assign a specific date to it if you want. You can change the due date right there. If you're watching this video in the future, I can't guarantee that Trello will look exactly the same as it does now, but the general point is about the same. So I can create a card and assign, put some text in it, and then add that, set a due date, can add labels, and I'll talk about labels here in a second when I get to my mailing list board. But the point here is that I devote time to keep all these things organized, so I always know what I'm doing, and if something gets closer to the date, then I might drag it from due next to due now, and this is my active to-do list. Whatever here is under due now. And all these things that are undated, maybe I will drag them around sort of in order of importance. Like this one about the Juggling Author domain expiring next year. That one's not important now, but I might drag that up, and then when I get to later on in the year, put it in there. So the point of this is that I always know what I've got going on right now, what I'm going to be doing up next, and then later all the things that I don't really need to worry about, and the due someday list is just the things that are going to come up eventually. So, but I also use a couple of other boards. So I've got my schedule, my blue board here, specifically for my email list. And so the way I do this is all dedicated to MailChimp, because as I mentioned in the book, I've got my emails scheduled out very far in advance. And so I will have to really stay on top of that, so I make sure that if an email is supposed to go out, that I am sending it out when it's supposed to go out, and that it's got the correct links in it and everything. So here's how I manage that. It's got my MailChimp list over here. I've got some ideas over here, and this is all just spitballing. And then the ones that are completed over here. Or done, they're completed, or it's just the trash pile. I don't really need the cards in here. So when something after March 20th comes and that email goes out, it's going to get dragged over here, and I know that this email is complete because it's not read. These emails down here that are read are ones that maybe I've started, or emails that are coming up that I don't that aren't finished yet. And to edit the labels, I click on this, change edit labels, and once this email is done, I can take off that red, and if I wanted to, then I could write done, and here's another way that I keep track of that. But I actually do need to take care of this later, so let's not mark that. So, and I've added in notes in parentheses, like this is the arc for the 8th book in my Micah Read series, but it's telling me that, like I started it, so there's a draft of this that exists in MailChimp, but I need to add the Goodreads links. So when this date gets closer, I'll probably add a to-do in my to-do board about to go in there and do that. So as these dates go along, I can move these up, and these are going to get dragged over to done, and then I'm eventually moving these up. So I'm always making sure that I know which emails I still need to write, which ones I have already written, indicated by done, or indicated by just not having the red label on it. And then the red labels are the ones that I need to come back to. And finally, I have a publication schedule board, and this is super top secret information. If you read my fiction, then you're getting an insider's look here. So I have my release schedule of when I intend to publish my books for 2018, the write schedule, all the drafts that I intend to do, and then a prospective release and write perspective. So this is where I'm just managing my actual weekly and monthly and daily workload of things. Actually, I guess it's just a monthly workload of things that I need to get done. And so this is how I use Trello. So as you could see, one of the comments that I get is that it seems like a lot of work to set up a to-do list like this because this is pretty thorough. And yeah, it is. It does take some work. It's going to take some time to set all this up, and it's going to take some regular maintenance time to make sure that you're using it. I look at this list. I look at all these various lists every single day. So I'm devoting a few minutes every single day, at least to looking at the to-do list. I don't necessarily look at the MailChimp schedule and the publication schedule every single day, but I certainly look at this every day to make sure that I'm adding in tasks whenever they come to me, so I'm not later having to think on the fly of the stuff I need to do, and then it doesn't get done, and then I'm in trouble. So I'm always adding tasks, whether they're now, next, later, or someday. And then as deadlines get closer, I'm moving them from board to board to board to board to done. All right, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. That's it.